check, check, 1, 2. We're all set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Round 7 of the Scorpio Superformula Championship here at Circuit de la Sarthe or otherwise known as Le Mans. Should be an absolute thriller here today. My name is TNR Blade, going solo in the booth for today's running. But we should have a very entertaining race for you nonetheless. We are currently round about 2.5, nearly 3 minutes into our 10-minute qualifying session here, which alone will be an already interesting topic of discussion for these drivers, as obviously second longest lap on the calendar for these drivers to tackle, meaning they will have a lot fewer chances to get a good lap in. Other storylines to talk about coming into today's event. Scorpio Motorsport's been making even more moves in silly season, as we'll call it. Scorpio Ivan now leading the charge for Scorpio Motorsport, and James Dean, or Smythe, also a member of the team, will be joining us, graduating from Scorpio Superformula Lights for today. Will be joining us on track. Mike Grove, also a member of the Scorpio eSports team, as always. And then we have a few other signings. Payme, as you will notice, no longer in the bright gold livery. Or was that might be a different driver. I don't remember. Or was it Lester? I think it was actually Lester. Either way, both of them now signed to the Scorpio eSports Next team. So they are now officially teammates. Very interesting. Very interested to see how they run in today's events. See if that new team alliance will affect their running at all. Quackadilly still also running for Scorpio Motorsport as well. It should be a very exciting event here for our drivers. As always, overtake not allowed in qualifying, so it is purely down to driver's skill to promote our 14 strong up the grid here, as we get ready to set some lap times. Payme and Michael both with time penalties. They'll have to reset and get ready for the following lap. Is now officially halfway through the session already. Estimating lap times to be probably around about 3:12. Perhaps a little bit longer because of the due to the slightly lower top speeds than you might expect in, say, the hypercar class. Which, shout out to the real life 24 Hours of Le Mans. I believe they are currently 5-ish hours in now at this point. So they're running, so best of luck to all those IRL drivers over the next 18, 19-ish hours. Arigata, one of the front runners in the championship, looking to make headway here at Le Mans. Currently sits second in the championship standings as they run, just 4 points off of our leader. That leader, of course, being AMS Super S2K. Got on track a little later than everyone else. So he will have a little less time to set a lap, but we still expect it to be a blistering one nonetheless. Hasn't qualified on pole, I don't believe, for the last couple of rounds, or no, actually qualified on pole last time out, after getting 3 poles in a row in the opening 3 rounds, but has won the last 3 events, which has allowed him to take that championship lead. And then, of course, his teammate, Mr. Consistent, as we're going to call him, Ryan Chung, the other AMS driver on our grid, yet to finish off the podium so far this season. He has claimed that Le Mans is not a good track for him, so we shall see which prevails, his incredible consistency to nab podium results, or whether or not his claims of being not that good around here are remotely true. Either way, currently still sits second on the leaderboard, just 2 seconds behind Nico, who has set a 1:15.1. Oh, a little wide through that second chicane, but still a couple tenths up. So looking at a 14, he picks up the time penalty. So never mind, this lap will be done for him. He might have enough time to get back around and start another one, as we have a minute. Oh, is that a minute and a half remaining? All right, maybe not. It runs wide again. It'll be close for him to get back to the line and start another one. The AMS teammates, looks like they're working together here to set a lap. Sanchez currently P3 on the leaderboard. Good showing for him in that number 911 machine. Lester currently running in the 4th place position, about 7 or so tenths behind Lester. Supa running 5th, great qualifying for him so far. I'm sure he'll be looking to keep that as close as possible to the front runners. Gramenos currently P6, another potentially great showing for him. Philo in 7th. Oh, Philo! We saw that. We caught that on camera. Can't be using overtake there, bud. It was a brief moment, but we did see it flash. I'm sure the stewards will be looking into that momentarily. As Ryan returns to the pits, I think he's going to be pretty content to start in that 2nd place position. Ivan currently in 8th, though if that penalty for Philo means anything, potential penalty for Philo means anything, will likely get promoted at least a position. Cracadilly down to 10th. James running in 11th for now. Good showing for him. Scratch that. Looks like he's also used a bit of overtake at some point. Mike, as we now actually have cars finishing their runs, and I don't think anyone was able to start another lap, so that will likely do it for qualifying. We just have a few last members to set lap times. Super S2K though, purple sector through the Porsche curves. This could be a great lap for him. Can he nab pole position here at the last second? Comes now into the Ford chicane. Drops a couple gears. Tries to keep the back end in check. 3rd gear now. Through the final corner. Using all the track available to him. And does manage to find pole position by 2 tenths over Nico Arigata. Found the lap time at the dying minute. And he will take pole. A fantastic lap from the AMS driver, looking to keep his winning streak alive. Won the last 3 Superformula events, won the virtual test day Scorpio hosted. Looking to carry a whole heap of momentum as they continue on through this championship. And so that will do it for our drivers in qualifying. AMS Super S2K on pole position. Nico will start second. Peme, great qualifying for him, will start third. Sanchez starting fourth. Supa, a really great result for him, given where he's been running so far this season, starting fifth. Ryan will start sixth. I suppose that looks like that those claims might ring to fruition, but long race ahead of us. 22 laps, not as many laps in terms of a physical count as we've seen so far this season, but still a long race nonetheless. Lester will start in 7th, a good result for him. Philo will start 8th. Gramenos will start 9th. Ivan will start 10th. James 11th. Quackadilly Blip will start 12th. Michael will start 13th. And Mike Grove will... Mike will round out the field in 14th. Ivan, if you are listening to stream, I do believe we did have James also blip it at one point as well. So, James, sorry to rat you out, but your overtake bar was not completely full. I see. So it was a misinput by fellow controller or whether it's controller or wheel mapping, unfortunately caught him out. Costly mistake, unfortunately, because he is starting 8th, or was starting 8th. Will now have to drop to the rear at turn 1. An unfortunate circumstance. He'll just need to remap it at some point. But for our keen-eyed viewers, you may note that our usual mandatory tire compounds are not currently listed. Now, the rule is still in effect, but we have had reports that weather is on the way. How much of it, we don't know. Could be just a very light drizzle where drivers will have to tough it out on their slicks. It might become a torrential downpour. Who knows how much rain we will get? All we know is there is rain on the way. And of course, not to mention that 16 feet per second tailwind down the Mulsanne will certainly make overtaking quite interesting. Will slightly weaken the amount of slipstream we'll see drivers down those, realistically, 3 really good overtaking opportunities into both the chicanes and then, of course, the Mulsanne hairpin. But should still be a highly entertaining race nonetheless. As we get ready for the off, only moments away from our 7th round of the championship, as the drivers are lined up on the grid and await the off once again. Reminder that overtake cannot be used on the first lap of the race, so keen-eyed viewers, be sure to keep an eye out for that. Soft and medium still required to be used unless they go onto the inters. 5 lights! And we are underway. It is a good start, it looked like, for Nico. A great start in the second phase for Super S2K, who looks to cover off Nico coming into turn 1. All the cars will start to try to file in. AMS Super 2K looked defensive for a moment going into turn 1. Was that Sanchez? Yes, that was Sanchez, who was being hounded by Peme going through the Dunlop chicane. As Super S2K leads the way. Looks like the entire field through clean now as they exit out of Tetra Rouge. Track limits through that corner will be something these drivers have to look out for. Half a second gap already back to Nico, who will now try to tuck into the slipstream. Use it to close in as they charge down to the first chicane. Only closing in by about 1/10.5 so far. Closes in by about 2/10 into that chicane, making their way through clean. As we look further back in the field, Payme now up to third, Sanchez running fourth, Supa fifth. Ryan looks to the outside to set up a move for that top 5 position. He's still running 6th. Lester running 7th. Gramenos running 8th. James with a great start up to 9th. Michael has picked up a penalty running 10th. Ivan and Grove looking to make moves. Grove actually had a very good start there to get himself up to 12th, although Okay, no, that is just Michael's penalty flashing up on the screen. Quackadilly looked to have a relatively poor start, though he is running the medium tire for now. He'll be looking to run long, potentially, depending on when this weather shows up. Michael, again, like I said, will have to serve that penalty. Philo looks to the inside, no room there. Tries it round the outside into the Mulsanne hairpin. Michael leaves him just enough room. And they are through. Meanwhile, back up front, I apologize, I missed the move. Nico has taken the lead. Nico has taken the lead away from Super S2K, but only 2/10 separating them. Payme has picked up a penalty. He'll have to serve that momentarily. Super S2K back up the inside. Little bit of contact. No damage to the front wing. Very lucky for Nico as they make their way through Indianapolis, now through Anage. Slipstream battle will be the name of the day. As Payme pulls off to the side, serves his penalty, he will drop in behind Sanchez and Ryan, who's already charging up to 4th place. The AMS driver making moves immediately. Obviously, it seems like qualifying pace wasn't there, but his race pace seems lightning fast, already making a move on Sanchez into the Porsche curves. Payme now looking back up the inside, perhaps a little bit of contact. No damage to either car. Payme will send it round the outside as they get ready for the Porsche curve. Sanchez offline. Here comes Gramenos now with a move. They'll have to sort themselves out coming into the 4 chicanes. Sanchez backs out to not lose any more time. Lester still running in 7th, sorry, as James now up to 7th, excuse me. Lester running 6th. Supa has picked up a half-second penalty for track limits. He'll have to serve that next time by. As Philo and Ivan now go at it. Philo very defensive under the braking zone, but legal move, I believe. As Super S2K was into the pits. What was that for? Did he have damage? He must have picked up damage, I think, from that contact. I apologize, I didn't move the camera up to see it. I think he picked up damage. That's going to really hurt his chances. Now already 25 seconds behind Nico. Well, we'll have to wait and see what the stewards have to say about that. Hopefully, Super S2K will be able to put on a recovery drive to catch back up, but out of the slipstream, he's got a lot of work ahead of him, but we saw in his qualifying pace, if anyone's going to be able to do it, it is him. So, all of that said now, Nico holds a nearly 5-second lead over the AMS teammate Ryan, running in 2nd, who holds a roughly 2-second lead to Payme, and then a further roughly half-second back to Gramenos, Sanchez, and Lester, all of whom in a train, charging down. Lester now starting to use overtake, already using a lot of it on this opening lap, or on this first lap that it is available. Lester looking to the outside of Sanchez. Can he think about a move? Not quite. He's going to try the crossover. Gramenos jumps over, trying to pick up the slipstream of Payme. Actually helped out Lester there with the slipstream. Left Sanchez almost hanging out to dry as they both close in on Gramenos here, coming down into this high-speed right-hander right before Indianapolis. Sanchez keeping it together under the brakes. Gramenos dropping a tire into the grass. That's James behind him following his line. Lester very wide through Arnage. That's going to cost him some time. Here comes James now thinking about a move on Gramenos. All three of these drivers under a blanket as they charge their way down to the Porsche curves. Does James think about a move to the outside? No, thinks better of it. Gramenos trying to fight it around the outside, which becomes the inside for these next two corners. On the preferred line and gets the move done on Sanchez. James now with seemingly with a run on Sanchez again. Into the Ford chicane, looks to the inside. Can he get the move done? Sanchez backs out of it again. Certainly had the line, had the speed to try to fight it if he wanted to, but thought better of it. Didn't want to lose any more time as now Supa and Ivan close up right to his, start to close in onto his gearbox. As Philo has also picked up a half-second penalty for track limits. Looks to the inside, very late on Ivan. Not close enough to make a move happen yet, though. Nico, currently fastest lap with an 18.1. Obviously, very heavy on fuel, though, for the time being. We will expect that fastest lap to drop dramatically over the course of this event. Of course, no refueling in this series. These drivers hit with a very severe penalty if they do need to take emergency fuel. As we'll give a quick update on AMS Super S2K, has actually closed the gap. Was 25 back, has closed in about a tenth or two on the lead. And now under 6 seconds back to Michael, who you just saw on screen exiting the chicane. Rapidly closing in on Michael, sets a new purple sector. Oh, but he picks up a time penalty for his troubles, pushing track limits a bit too much. That's going to hurt his. That's going to hurt his efforts to get back into the slipstream of the pack in front. Everyone's still fairly close together, all things considered. Mike picked up a half-second penalty, which he will have to serve. Philo's actually picked up another half-second penalty. That brings him to a total of 1 that he will need to serve. As we look further up the grid, Lester now onto the back bumper of Gramenos. Sticking to the racing line, Gramenos running defensive for the time being. Lester now to his outside. Not even used a little bit of overtake, but predominantly slipstream. He will clear the way into 4th. Gramenos still tucked up under the rear wing. As he runs wide, it drops another wheel into the grapple again. James making great headway to get up into 6th already. Great showing for him. Looks like just about everyone currently running that soft compound tire. So perhaps a lot of people expecting rain to come early in this running. Sanchez actually the first one on running mediums, I believe. No, Payme running the mediums. Apologies. Payme, the highest runner on mediums, and very good pace, it must be said, for that tire. Though he did run wide, exiting the Porsche curves. Will he pick up a time penalty for it? We will wait and see. Only 2.5 seconds, give or take, behind Ryan for the time being. Don't believe he will pick up that time penalty. Ryan now 7 and a bit seconds behind Nico. And again, Nico looking to put himself back onto the right swing of momentum. The past few rounds, not necessarily ones to forget per se, but certainly Nürburgring maybe, but certainly had some troubles at Road Atlanta. Should have been was in contention for the win, just made one too many mistakes in terms of track limits penalties, which allowed Super S2K to get the better of him last time out at Road Atlanta. But it's once again Mr. Consistent running in the podium places. As we look back down the order, that was fortunately just a lag spike. Lester has gotten around Gramenos, as now James will look to think about a move, potentially get himself into the top 5. The Lights driver running incredibly well here in the upper tier series. And I believe James also one of only 2, I believe, controller players in our series today. So doing very well for pace, especially considering he, or so he claims, is not a fan of these cars. Oh my goodness gracious, if I can think of the words. A little bit of a snap on exit. Claims that he very much prefers the GT machines, be it GR3s, GR2s. That is his bread and butter, but certainly putting on an outstanding performance so far in what is his first superformula start in this upper tier. Just lifting off throttle for now, saving a little bit of fuel, not wanting to make a move on Gramenos just yet. But keeping himself in and amongst the mix. Everyone charging their way down to the Porsche curves once again. He has used quite a bit of overtake already at this point in time. But then again, so has just about everyone. Payme, decent amount of overtake still remaining on what is this, lap 4 of the race. Gramenos look back up the inside. He will get around Lester here, reclaiming P4 as James sets his sights on whichever one of them he can try to get past for that top 5. So as I was saying, Payme still with quite a bit of overtake remaining. Nico and Ryan both yet to use theirs. As we jump further back down the grid, Ivan currently running in 9th, probably the most overtake usage we've seen so far. AMS Super S2K will give you another quick update on him as we start lap 5. Looks like he has set the fastest lap of the race by quite some margin. Already up to 13th and very much in the hunt for 12th. Grove, Quackadilly, and that is Philo, all right in front of him. Grove already having used quite a bit of overtake. Super S2K still has 0.75% left. Probably about 80% left, actually, as he's got another run on Mike. Will look to the inside. Doesn't even need the overtake as he'll slot back in front, slot back in line, reclaim the racing line, and will set his sights after Quackadilly. Very smooth lines. Quackadilly, not a great exit out of the chicane. AMS will use the overtake just to clear him before the run down into the second Mulsanne chicane. As Quackadilly looks back to the inside, I don't think that's going to be a move he realistically wants to think about. No, he'll tuck back in line. Now Super S2K will set his sights after Philo. The recovery drive has begun. 5/1000ths of a second faster than his previous lap. Despite the battling, though slipstream probably aiding him a bit there as well. Now under a second to Philo in front, and then it'll be a further 3 seconds up to Ivan in 9th. So not the start he would have wanted, but so far a decent recovery drive is certainly on the cards for him. Jumping back further up, Supa has picked up a time penalty for track limits. Sanchez now closing in on the back of James, who had a bit of a moment exiting both Anaj and Indianapolis. But still far enough ahead where Sanchez can't think about a move just yet. Now trying to think about a move on Lester somewhere into the Porsche curves, under 2/10 entering the complex. Not quite close enough to make anything happen just yet. Realistically needs to enter the Porsche curve side by side to make anything happen. But he will likely sit back in line and then wait until the Mulsanne straight to think about another move. Gramenos now closing in on Payme. Running the soft compound tires versus Payme's mediums, though those mediums still look to have quite a ways to go in terms of distance. The softs now will be starting to fall off a little bit here as we have a battle further back. Sanchez looking to the outside of James into the Dunlop chicane. James with a good exit though. He will hold on to 6th place for now. Can he get the run on Lester? 3/10 the gap, or nearly 4, as they enter the Mulsanne straight, charging down now to the Daytona chicane, as it was renamed during that recent partnership that the two amazing facilities established a few years ago in honor of the new LMH and GTP regulations. Got up alongside Lester, but wasn't quite able to make a move. Obviously, these drivers technically under the same banner here for Scorpio eSports, so they will be likely sharing setup data. Sanchez now with a run looks to hit James's inside. That was a time penalty for the 4th place runner up ahead. We will take a look to see who that was. That was Gramenos, who's picked up a 2nd penalty during his troubles battling Payme. He'll serve that in a few moments' time. Looks to the inside of Payme. He's going to make the move happen now, but realistically, all this is going to do is hold up both himself and Payme here, because he's not going to be able to create enough of a gap to get to stay ahead of Payme here unless something dramatic happens. Ryan now 11 seconds behind Nico, but still pulling away from those behind, though part of that might be down to the battling happening. Cloud cover seems to be shifting around the track, it looks like. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anyone has their radar up, so I can't quite make a weather prediction just yet. Those were sparks across the screen. Gramenos with a huge snap-on exit at Indianapolis, and he will now serve his 1 second penalty. This could drop him behind Lester if he's not careful. He will burn the overtake to get back up to speed. Here comes Lester, already cleared and passed him. And that will do it for him. Back ahead of Gramenos. As we will look to see where Gramenos tries to think about a move again. Oh, Gramenos, that was wide again. Very wide. He might pick up another penalty for that. And does. Half a second for track limits exiting the Porsche curves. Oh, contact made. I don't think he was expecting Lester to slow down that much, as that's allowed James and Sanchez to both get through. Have either of them picked up damage? I don't think so. Gramenos has picked up front wing damage. So that will be an additional 10-second wait in the pit lane. Highly unfortunate. I'm not quite sure what... I don't think he was trying to make a move going into that corner. It's just... I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here, though. Certainly, if that was an attempt at a dive, it was a very interesting place to attempt it, as that's backed up everyone. And here comes AMS Super S2K. The recovery drive has just been helped out a bunch by that squabble, as he should be able to get past all of these guys with relative ease. The question, of course, remaining, where is the rain, when will the rain come, and how much of it? And how will that affect these drivers' strategies? Super S2K closing at a rapid rate of knots here. Front wing damage for Gramenos. He's not going to have a hope to try to fight this. Super S2K already 2/10 clear. Loss of downforce and an increase of drag thanks to that damage. And AMS Super 2K makes light work of it. Promotes himself back up into the top 8 as he will set his sights back after Lester. Looking further up the grid, James now leads this train. Supa looking to the inside of Sanchez, backs out of it, thinks better of it. Three-way battle now for 4th place. And all this battling means Payme, Ryan, and Nico have run away at the front. But, all of that said, AMS Super 2K, despite needing to come through traffic, is still matching pace, and if not, just a little bit faster than Nico. Now, it was like, I believe he was 25.5 seconds behind when he exited the pits after his lap 1 pit stop. He is kept hold of that roughly 24.5 second gap despite all the traffic. Look further back, Gramenos, having served his time penalty, is going to allow Ivan to get it back around him into the top 10 again, as we expect Gramenos to probably come into the pits here, as Nico into the pits. No water on track just yet. You can see in that bottom left-hand corner right next to the tire wear. So what is the pit strategy here, I wonder? Ryan stays out on those soft compound tires. Payme stays out, of course he would, on the mediums. And it looks like just about everyone else has stayed out. Nico's pit onto the wets. Is it raining? Where did Nico go? Nico is out on the wets, but there's no water on track. So either it's about to become a torrential downpour, but then why hasn't he gone to the intermediates? What is he seeing on the radar that we haven't? Or worst case scenario, has he just misclicked his tire selection and is now running the wets on accident? Because surely you would imagine that even if there was rain coming, you'd go immediately to the intermediates, but there's still no rain. Now, unless the game is bugged and we're not seeing anything on the indicator. Certainly the car itself looks dry. Very interesting indeed. And his tires are good. Those wets will not last very long. Now the good news is, because the straights are so long, it gives the tires ample opportunity to cool down. But the moment he gets to the Porsche curves, they are going to churn like butter. Very interesting moments here in this event. AMS Super S2K now promoted into the top 5, having gotten around Supa. All these drivers on the softs likely will be thinking about making a pit stop in a few moments' time. I just can't help but think if Nico has misclicked his tire selection, he's just given away a pit stop to the entire field. He's handicapped himself with an extra pit stop. Sanchez with a half-second penalty. That's going to promote AMS Super S2K into, well, I was going to say fourth. He's already gotten around James, which promotes him into, which promoted him into fourth. He's now past Sanchez, which puts him back into the top three. So our pole sitter now back onto the podium after his lap 1 pit. James holding on very impressively to the top 4. Supa and Sanchez still hounding him all over the track. Both of them still running the medium, so they'll be looking to go long. Ryan is into the pits, as is Payme, interestingly, off the medium. Everyone coming into the pits now. There is water on track finally. You can see it in the indicator. There is water coming. I think that is why everyone's coming into the pits. Nico stays out on the wets. Did he just go a lap early? Even still, this is probably still intermediates weather, though. We'll see what tire Ryan comes out of the pits on here. And it is the inters. So why did Nico go wets? All the drivers, Sanchez is actually pit out onto the softs. But if this rain keeps coming, this is very much intermediates weather now. As you can see, it's reached the first bar, which is about the transition point for where you want to take the intermediates. Which is seemingly what just about every single driver has done. Payme is out on the full wets. Nico has stayed out, but he's only about 2 seconds ahead of Michael. Now, the question is, obviously, it is wet. There's no question about it. But which tire will be better here? The dries or the full wets? Because it's not full wets weather yet. Oh, Michael's having a ripe old time trying to keep the back end in check. He realistically needed to pit there. Ryan is now up into second. How quickly is Ryan going to be... Oh, that bar is climbing quite high. Oh, Nico with a big slide on exit, though. We caught that just in time. If this rain continues to fall heavily enough, this could play into Nico's hands. The question is, how long does this rain stay? Alright, you can start to see now that bar at the bottom left is starting to show a little bit of blue. That does mean full wets would be the better tire. I'm curious to know why Nico pit so early. And then certainly the wets are good enough now, but the inters are also just about equally viable for the moment. As Nico has a bit of a snap of oversteer on exit. Ryan is slowly losing time, but it's about the same as what it was when they were on equal tires, which would lead me to believe that the inters would be the better tire. Then again, of course, Payme has actually been catching rapidly over the course of this lap. AMS Super S2K closing in also at a rate of knots. What was a 25-second gap back to Nico is now down to 13.5. So nearly gained about 9-10 seconds through that pit cycle, just because Nico pit a lap early. Through these Porsche curves, it is definitely not full wets weather. This is very strange. Why would he pit to wets, though? Why would either of these drivers pit to wets? Now, off the racing surface, I would imagine it would probably be better off if they end up running wide at some point. Gap holding steady at about 6 seconds here. Tire strategy, very interesting at the moment. Ryan closing in by about half a second through those last couple corners. Ooh, ran a bit wide. He needs to not pick up a time penalty. Now, I don't have access to a weather radar from Spectate. Granturismo, if you could fix that, that would be wonderful. It's just such an interesting call to go onto the wet weather tires, and Nico especially pitting so early. All of that, you can see just how much more worn his tires are compared to Payme, and that's simply just for an extra lap going through the Porsche curves when there wasn't any water on the track. And now that the water is starting to dissipate from the surface, the intermediates are really coming into their own here. As it looks like we have a car in the pit lane. Jump back. That is Sanchez in the pits. Had rear wing damage. So he is in the pits getting that fixed. A long wait for him. Michael has stayed out this entire time. He's lost a lot of time staying out, but he has not pit yet. Very interesting strategy call from him. Everyone else has run the intermediates, as we see Gramanos and Ivan battling it out here. Still decently wet offline, but online, it's nearly dry weather again. It was a brief shower, but it was a shower nonetheless. A downpour that nearly played into Nico's hands. But he's now consistently losing time. He will likely need to think about pitting this time, because he's only going to continue bleeding time back to Ryan and Payme. Or, well, I say Payme. Payme's also going to need to consider pitting as well. Super S2K still in a very good spot, actually running offline to try to cool his tires a little bit. It's up front. Let's watch that time interval just come down at a rate of knots here. Not quite dry enough for dry weather tires just yet, but certainly still intermediates weather, especially when he gets onto the rumble strips or just offline at all. Does he come into the pits here? Yes, he does. Yeah, he lost over a second and a half in those Porsche curves. Payme comes into the pit, follows him into the pits. I think they realized that full wet weather tire just was not the call. Question now is, what tire do they pit onto? Lester also into the pits off the intermediates. Do they think it's dry enough for slicks? We're about to find out. As the tire change happens for Nico, he will exit the pits and onto the softs once again. He will need to be very careful offline. This is how he got caught out big time at the Nürburgring. A drying track wasn't quite ready, and if you touch a curb in just the wrong way, you will go for a spin very easily. And unlike the Nürburgring, we have a new damage policy. It's a 10-second wait for a front wing, it's a 30-second wait for suspension or a rear wing. Or 30 seconds each for suspension or a rear wing. Nico already now starting to use a bit of overtake now, halfway through this race. Comes out in 9th, 27 seconds back from Ryan. It is at this point that Nico will need to be very careful but very fast. He runs it a bit wide. You saw the You saw just how much the track moisture meter spiked there on the exit of the Daytona chicane. Nico's got to be extremely careful to not get offline and with every single touch of these curbs. Actually leaving these curbs a very wide berth. Does not want to have a repeat of what happened at the Nürburgring. 27 seconds off the lead. Has held steady so far over the course of this lap. Realistically, will need to make up most of his time through the Porsche curves. Track actually fairly dry through that the exit of the Mulsanne hairpin, as he continues to close up to the back of Mike Grove Street. How much can he close up with traffic in the way? 26.5 seconds. He's closed in a lot under the braking zone to Indianapolis now. Super is 2K, did something just happen? I don't know if something did, but he and James are going at it. My only thoughts were, because he was well ahead, he must have picked up a time penalty for track limits somewhere. Do they peel off to the pit? No, they stay out again. I wonder if they see that there's more rain coming, so they want to keep these tires alive for as long as possible. Supa into the pits. James stays out with the two AMS boys. Philo stays out. Ivan has stayed out. Gramenos and Nico, obviously, they have all stayed out. We'll see what tire Supa goes on to here. That should give us a relative indication as to what is happening with the weather here. Exits the pits onto the softs. He's not expecting any more rain for the time being. Oh, but he takes a spin on the exit, on the pit exit. Track is still very wet there. Just jammed it on the throttle and went for a spin. Luckily, no damage. Was able to keep it out of the wall, avoid all the other cars. Very unfortunate for him, though. Lester running the medium tire. As Ryan has picked up a time penalty for track limits. That could be a saving grace for Nico here. Is these front drivers getting time penalties. Nico now past Gramenos. 24.5 seconds behind Ryan. Defends to the inside, just making sure Gramenos can't try to attack him back into the hairpin, or into the chicane, excuse me. As he will now set his sights after Ivan, who is running 5th. You can see how a bunch of these drivers running off the racing line, out into that standing water, trying to help try to cool off those intermediate tires, make them last a little bit longer. Of course, if more rain comes, that could play into their hands, let them stay out a few more laps. But at this point, you would imagine that if more rain did come, they'd want to come back into the pits and get some fresh intermediates. Nico now 22 seconds back from the lead. Excuse me. 20 seconds now back from the lead. You'd have to imagine Ryan, James, and Super S2K will be coming into the pits here. They're just losing far too much time to Nico. Track is dry through the Porsche curves. Did they stay out? They stayed out. Oh my goodness, they stayed out again. Ryan, unfazed by the thought of Nico closing in at a rate of knots for the time being. Gramenos into the pits to get off of those intermediates. James following the strategy of the AMS drivers. Super S2K only about 4 seconds off of his teammate and the lead for the time being. Nico now up into the top 5. The only other thought I could have is that maybe these front 4 think that the amount of time that they can make those intermediates last, by the time they need to come to the pits to change tires, because you can see that it is blue skies. It is opened up beautifully here at Le Mans, or virtual Le Mans. I can't imagine there's going to be more rain coming anytime soon. Perhaps they think they can make their intermediates last just long enough so that when Nico does need to come in to pit off of those softs, they can also come into the pits at about the same time and just preserve, or at least in Ryan's case, preserve that 18-second lead by taking one less pit stop. Nico only about 5.5 seconds off the back of Philo, who's a further 10 back from Super S2K, who looks to just be sitting in line behind James for the moment. Doesn't really look to want to fight him for the moment. James, however, pretty much out of overtake. Super S2K still has over a quarter of it left. Now looks to the outside for the run down into Indianapolis, swoops around the outside, and will reclaim the spot. Both of them closing in fairly quickly on Ryan, though. Ryan's still by far in the best position in terms of the amount of overtake he has remaining. You can see just how much water he's able to find still on the side of the road. That really helping his tire wear for the time being, because if not for those puddles, he'd be shredding through them. Super S2K now well and truly up into the second place position. This top 3 all looking to find whatever water they can, staying out another lap. No rush to get onto pit lane and get off of those tires. Philo will stay out again, yes. 3 seconds behind him, back to Nico. Sliding through. Again, track still very moist. Offline. Though with every lap, it's getting a little bit safer for him to start using those curbs. You can see every time he just clips an apex, though, the amount of water is still hung up in those curbs, those rumble strips. Not necessarily going to immediately pitch him into a spin if he's not careful, but certainly something he still needs to be aware of. The thoughts of his shenanigans at the Nürburgring will be ringing in his ears. Gap now just about a second up to Philo, as he now too starts running offline, but that is to pick up the slipstream off of Philo. That's not to cool his tires. He will actually, he probably wants to be avoiding putting his tires into the moist stuff. He does so now. As enticing as that slipstream might be, Nico, you gotta keep your tires dry. Otherwise, you're just hurting your own grip. Philo managing to hold on for now. Didn't lose too much time in that first chicane, and all because Nico was following him in the slipstream, trying to and put all that extra moisture onto his tires. Now that he went through the second chicane and kept his tires dry, you saw just how much he was able to close up. Uses a little bit of overtake, excuse me, as he now will clear into the 4th place position. 8.5 seconds behind James, who tails this lead pack. I say pack, it's 3 cars, though they are pretty evenly spread out. James doing an excellent job today, it must be said. Oh, AMS Super S2K. Bit of a snap of oversteer on exit. Still a lot of water on that curb. Gotta be careful in the traction zones. Nico continuing to try to close in. Working lap 14, closing in on lap 15 of 22 here. How long can they make the soft tire last? Well, we saw in those opening stints, those soft tire runners were able to go to around about lap 7, lap 8 or so. AMS Super S2K, first of the leaders into the pits off the medium, or off the intermediate. Might be able to go soft to the end from here. It's lighter fuel. Tracks become rubbered in a bit more. I think he can go to the end from here. So perhaps was that the strategy? The front 3 knew that they still needed to make one more stop even if they came in off of the intermediates. They knew they weren't going to be able to go to the end, so you might as well just stay out and make the pit later. AMS Super S2K onto the softs. Needs to be careful here on exit. Certainly a lot safer now that it's dried up a little bit more. Not quite, it's certainly nowhere near close to dry, but it is nowhere near as dangerous as it was a few laps ago. Sky starting to get a little darker again, though. Is there any more rain to come? James and Ryan still out on circuit. Ryan looking for any amount of moisture that might be left on the side of the road. There is James, there is Nico. How much of a defense will James put on Nico? Does he think about the championship battle that is going on between our front 3 drivers? AMS Super S2K peeled into the pits, our championship leader. He has made his final stop. Nico likely cannot go to the end from here. I just can't see those soft tires lasting to the end. The question is, when does he make his final stop? Or is he just covering himself off in case there's any more rain to come that might require him to pit again onto the intermediates? Or in his case, the wets. For whatever reason. James running that left-hand side lane, trying to keep his tires in the wet stuff. That's going to open the door completely for Nico, who slides on through and up into second, 5 seconds off the lead. Already closing in 4 seconds. He's gained half a second in both of those corners. as they charge down toward the Porsche curves. Ryan, those tires are gone, my friend. You probably need to pit this time. Dab of brakes and down a gear. Charging through these high-speed corners. 3.5 the gap. As he comes toward lap 16. Certainly well into the window to make it to the end. He stays out for another lap. Does he see weather on the radar? James is now into the pits. And James had to make that stop. His left front tire was gone. We'll keep an eye on what tire James goes to here. If it's another set of intermediates, we will know that there is more rain coming. Pulls into the pit box. Tires go on. Exits the pits now. And it's another set of inters. It is another set of inters. There is rain on the way. They see rain on the radar. James takes the safe call, trying to go onto the intermediates. There must be rain. It's not falling yet, but he must have seen something on the radar. He has gone to another set of inters. Nico is already through on Ryan. Where is this rain? They clearly see something, but what? Payme is back up into third. AMS Super S2K on the softs, but 21 seconds off the lead. Nico can't go to the end. Ryan certainly can't go to the end. He has to pit this lap. Payme could go to the end from here. So he is in a great... It must be the water, is a great comment. Payme is in the catbird seat right now if it stays dry. That said, how quickly can Super S2K catch him? That would be the battle for the lead if there wasn't any rain coming. But if there wasn't any rain coming, why is James gone onto the intermediates? And left himself open to be completely hounded by this pack of 4 cars coming. Phila is on fresh softs. Supa's on oldish softs, but should still, I believe, be able to go to the end. No, I take that back, probably can't. Lester is on the mediums, can go to the end. Gramenos is on meh softs, but still in a better shape than Supa. AMS Super S2K closing in, took about half a second out of Payme so far this lap. Ryan is now 8 seconds behind Nico. Those tires are gone. He is coming in this lap. Nico's got damage! Where the hell did he pick up damage? That's a 30-second wait. He's got right front suspension damage. I think that's race over. I think he's clobbered the wall through the Porsche curves. Oh my goodness. Payme's in off the medium as well. So is Ryan, but that was a given. Super S2K's in. They see something on the radar. Why are they coming back in? Nico waiting in the pits for the damage to be fixed. As the rulebook now requires, everyone is into the pits. James has stayed out. There's water. You can see it on the bar. It is growing. There is water falling on the track. Payme's out on full wets. Ryan is out on intermediates. Super S2K now back out on intermediates. There is rain coming. How many spots is Nico about to drop? This race has just taken yet another turn. Okay, I got worried for a moment. He is out on intermediates. Philo is right up his trumpet on full wets. And is actually going to jump him immediately into turn 1. Supa has picked up a 3-second time penalty for clipping either the pit entry or exit line. Gramenos is looking for a way to get around as soon as possible. James now holds a 5-second lead over Peme, who is on full wets. What on earth is happening? Another strong shower coming in. James is in an excellent position right now, and I don't know how he's managed it. A million IQ strategy call to go onto the intermediates. We saw him make that strategy call, and I will put my hands up. I thought it was a mistake. Evidently, there was rain coming, and he's managed to hold on to those tires for just long enough where he should be able to make them last now, especially since that there is a great chunk of rain on the track. Can Peme and Ryan or Super S2K catch him? Our regular 3 are all within about 4 seconds of each other. And there is enough rain on track to be considered for full wets. Will we see any more rain than we did in that first opening shower? Because if so, James, everyone running the intermediate has had it. It is coming down. It is raining cats and dogs right now. The intermediate just barely able to hold on for now. Peme has closed in by almost 2 seconds. Just in these few corners where the rain is at its heaviest. But will it last long enough for those wet tires to make a difference? He is starting to run away from Ryan. Both the AMS drivers on the intermediates. Nico also on the inters. Philo is on the wets. He's the next car in that good position behind Peme. Peme under 2.5 seconds now to James. Oh, very nearly ran it too wide out of the Porsche curves. He's got to be careful. All of these drivers need to be careful of track limits here. James wrestling with the controls, trying to keep that thing out underneath him. Peme has a run under a second now for the lead. Lap 18 has begun. Ryan and Super S2K, 3 seconds separating them. AMS Super S2K had probably, I believe, had a bit of an issue somewhere in the latter half of that lap. No damage, though, is able to continue on. Ryan still running the mediums. James has been overtaken by Peme. Another big wiggle from James as they exit Tetra Rouge and re-enter the Mulsanne Straight. James is completely out of the overtake button. If he's going to make a move happen, it will need to be on driver's skill alone, or he needs the rain to stop and for the intermediates to last to the end here. He has this almost 6-second lead back to AMS Super S2K. Did Ryan had a problem? Ryan has gone around. He's picked up front wing damage, but he's got 10 seconds back to Nico. He might just try to stay out and manage it. Oh, he's run very deep, though. That might not be manageable. Never mind. Peme might have just set himself up to become only our 4th different winner so far this season. continuing to lead the way. A little snap of oversteer on exit. The rain is not letting up just yet. This is exactly what he wanted to see. Full wet weather conditions on that opening shower only lasted for maybe a lap. So far, it's lasted for 2. As long as he's able to hold on to this, he might have just set himself up for a brilliant race call. James still managing to keep that gap back to Super S2K over 5 seconds. His first start in this upper tier series, and he has made a very impressive performance so far. It must be said. Super S2K now finally under 5 seconds to second place. Not sure who went off there at Indianapolis, but I do see the trail marks through the gravel trap. Ryan has continued to bleed lap time. He'll likely need to come to the pits to get that wing fixed. Philo, also on the wets, has gotten well and truly clear of Nico now. But the rain has started to let up just a little bit, at least in this second half of the lap. It's pushing the intermediates to their limits, but it's still just light enough now. So, start of lap 19 now. 5 seconds, the gap from Paymay to James. And a further 4.5 back to AMS Super S2K. Can James or Super S2K start to make a run now that the full wets are not technically the best tire? The gap's slowly starting to come down. I say as it immediately spikes back up to over 5.5. These opening corners on the lap still just wet enough for those wet tires to be the favorite tire. Actually, I think the gap growth was actually just down to James's line. Super S2K closing in under 4 seconds now. His gap to Paymay holding at about the same, still about 9.5, 9.7 seconds. Super S2K still has the potential to go and catch. Actually took out half a second to Paymay through that first chicane. Looks like there is just enough grip for those intermediates at this time. Oh, Paymay with a big slide out of the second chicane. That will... I was going to say that will probably hurt his time. I got worried for a moment. James also had a moment. Was 7 seconds. He lost about a second because of that very large snap. Did Super S2K just go for a spin? I think he did! Super S2K has spun it! We'll try to catch it. Yeah, he did! That exit, we caught it just in time. That exit curb out of the second chicane. That might be curtains. AMS Super S2K, he hasn't picked up damage. He didn't hit anything. But this has brought Philo, Art, Nico, and Ryan right back into it. Ryan has stayed out with despite the front wing damage. That's crazy. So we'll have to keep an eye on this battle. But of course, there's also the battle for the lead, assuming the rain decides to let up here. If the rain stops at any point, James is in the catbird seat on those intermediates. 9 seconds the gap for Peme as he tries to hold on to this, to those tires, praying that the rain does not let up. We will jump back to that battle for fourth. Philo closing in. Super S2K goes defensive. Philo looks to the outside, he backs out of it. Not going to be able to make a move happen through there, especially in these conditions. But he closes right back up under the gearbox of Super S2K. He also needs this rain to continue to pour heavily. Oh, he got a run, a little bit of contact. Can he make the move stick? He's already clear. Going into the fourth chicane, Philo with a great run. Could we see an entirely new podium for the first time all season? It's Super S2K with a great run on exit, though. He will try, look to back up the inside. He slots back in line. He wants that podium back. How will this affect the fight for the championship? The top two in that fight, nose to tail now, as we have just 3 laps to go. Roughly 21 miles. All that is left in this running. Oh, they're both a bit wide here. Philo picks up a time penalty. Nico picks up a time penalty. All 3 of them picked up a half-second time penalty. They all ran wide through Tetra Rouge. And they will all serve a penalty before the run down to the Porsche curves. The rain, I think, is starting to let up, but James has not started making inroads just yet. There is still time, but when the rain lets up, he's going to need to put on an absolutely blistering performance if he wants to catch Peme. Certainly very curious to hear if he would have preferred to go onto the wets. If he had the ability to pit with Peme instead of pitting all those laps earlier. He had the undercut. It put him on this strategy to get ahead of everyone. Now the question remains, how long can those wet tires last? You can see the track slowly starting to dry. Philo will be feeling it as well, also running the full wets. Nico and Super S2K will be in the better positions for it. Philo defending to the inside. Obviously, this battle all for position, given the time penalties that they will all be serving here this lap. The track is drying. 12 seconds, the gap for the lead. Closing in on what will be 2 laps to go here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Can Peme hold on to his first win of the season? Can James, the newcomer for today's running, can he find 6 and a bit seconds per lap as the track continues to dry? The gap's still growing for now. But all of these drivers still looking for any amount of standing water they can. The rain has stopped. James gained 3/10 through the 4 chicanes alone. Now he needs to make his charge. It's become too dry for the full wet tires. Philo has picked up yet another half-second penalty. Nico will want to clear him well before the penalty line, as it is a long way back to it. But Nico will be on the better tire compared to Philo now at this point. AMS Super S2K has picked up a time penalty as well. Nico, much more conservative through Tetra Rouge that time. Sits in the slipstream, 4/10ths back, closing in more and more. It has become an even stronger tailwind as the wind has shifted direction a little bit. Nico, it doesn't care though. He's already through and up back into the podium places. Just under 5 seconds up to James. Can he chase after another P2 finish? James, meanwhile, has brought the gap down under 11 seconds. The track is drying at a rapid rate. Can he find the lap time he needs to get after Payme? Folks, don't go anywhere. I think he can do it. Even if it's not 6 seconds this lap, the track's only getting drier. It's already almost back to dry tire conditions. Under 10 now. If he can find another 4 seconds, he will be well and truly on pace to get past Payme. Obviously not able to close in too much on these straights, but the corners are where it matters. The Porsche curbs will be his best friend. He needs to get through there extremely well on this lap if he wants a chance. Payme evidently with a great exit through Arnage and Indianapolis. Gap back over 10 seconds. Payme was able to find enough water. We'll watch him through these corners here, averaging minimum speed of just about 150 miles an hour. James, meanwhile, almost 10 mile an hour faster. He was 10 miles an hour faster through there. Payme exits the 4 chicanes and will start the final lap of the race. He holds a 10.5 second lead. It should be good enough for him. James did not have a good run through the 4 chicanes. He starts his final lap of the race. 10.5 seconds is the gap. The track is extremely dry. He has the chance to catch Payme, but he's got to be careful because Nico Arrigata is still closing and is under 2 seconds. Oh, James is very wide. He's run very wide. And he's let Nico through. The dream is up for James. Ran out of tire. Just overdrove it through what is, I believe, turn 4 or 5. And won't be able to get any closer. Now looks to fight to hold on to the podium. AMS Super S2K picked up a half-second penalty, but is running considerably faster than James. It was a very impressive recovery drive for him. And certainly the question will be asked, what could have been for his Super S2K had he not had to pit on that opening lap? As he will now look to try to minimize the damage to Nico Arrigata, who seems well and truly set for a second place finish. 9.7 the gap to the lead. I think Payme should have it. As long as he keeps it on the track, that should be plenty of a gap to maintain through Indianapolis, through Arnage, through the Porsche curbs, and finally the 4 chicanes. That is all that stands between him and victory lane. I'm sure the incidents, the stewards will take a look at all the incidents through the race. They do an incredible job week in and week out. And have been very consistent in their calls, and we can't thank them enough for it. Nico exits Arnage, closes in under 9 seconds now, but it's not going to be enough. James will hold on to third place for the time being, unless AMS Super S2K can close in time. Only 7/10 separate Super S2K from another spot on the podium. But none of that matters to this man. Payme will make his way through the Fort chicanes. It's been an absolute strategy masterclass for the American. He will cross the line to win it here at Circuit de la Sarthe. Payme picks up his first win of the season, and an incredible drive to go with it for the Scorpio next driver. Nico will cross the line to finish second. An incredible drive for him. Started second, finished second. It looked a bit hairy for a moment, running that stint on the wets when it was still very dry for a few laps, but managed to hold on to it. James, in his first start in the upper tier Super Formula series, will cross the line to finish third. A highly impressive podium for him. Super S2K manages an equally impressive recovery back to fourth place. Of course, the question of what if, but what a drive it was to get back to it. Philo will cross the line in fifth, an excellent result for him. Supa, a great result for himself, finishes sixth. Gramanos will come home seventh. Ivan, another decent result for him, will finish eighth. Ryan, after that front wing damage, first time off the podium. Mr. Consistent, as we were calling him all day. The luck ran out, unfortunately for him. He will come home in ninth. Lester picks up a 10th, rounds out the top 10. Michael will come home 11th. Sanchez 12th. Quackadelli will make his way through the Ford chicanes to bring it home in 13th. Meanwhile, Mike picks up another half-second penalty and will round Indianapolis 2 minutes 40 behind the leaders. An intense one, to say the least, both on track and in the pit lane, just as the engineers go over strategy. But don't go anywhere, folks. We will be having post-race interviews momentarily. So don't go anywhere just yet. We will try to get our podium finishers, plus a few others in to go over interviews. Wow.
I guess let me know when we're starting those, because I forgot that there's a pause in between. There is a pause in between, right?
Yeah, it's all good, but that pause is typically me trying to get over into the Discord, so... now it's everyone else coming into the PlayStation party, so that way those of you on stream can hear. Obviously, to all those coming in, just as a reminder, we are still broadcasting. I do not have the ability to mute the party in between, so... we will just wait on getting Payme and Nico in here, and then we will start the interviews. Nico is already in here. Perfect. And then Ivan, just so you know, if you plan on doing an interview, you currently seem to be having some network issues. I don't even know if you can hear me. All right. See if we can get Payme in here. How do I invite you to a party?
I got him. I texted him too.
All right, perfect. Tires pay me. All right. I suppose we will start in reverse order. So we will start over, James, with you. First start in the Superformula main series, I guess we'll call it. An excellent result on your debut. Tell us about it. Just tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, I like rain a lot. I like weather, dynamic weather, and I like setting up cars right, and I got it right, actually. So, and then it was just a matter of went out on the intermediates. I knew the rain was coming back around. Didn't know how long, so I just figured stayed out on the intermediates as long as I could, and then as soon as I saw the rain coming again, I just went back in for the intermediates. So they were a little busted like already when the next batch of rain came, but I was pretty confident in that. I was more worried about my fuel because I had roasted fuel, so I had to do a lot of fuel saving towards the end, which is where a lot of the guys were catching me. And then I made that mistake and allowed Nico to get past, and I was like, I'm not losing my podium here. So, just had to remind everybody I'm still a beast.
Well,
I'm still around.
It was a great result nonetheless. Now, you mentioned already you had a bit of an undercut onto those intermediate tires despite the fact that the rain had not arrived yet. Had you been able to hold out on the first set of intermediates till about the time where everyone else came into the pits, would you have wanted to try to pit onto the wet weather tires instead of another set of inters, or were you pretty happy with your tire choice?
I would have for sure. I was definitely happy with my choice. I don't know. I wish I could have got another lap out of the intermediates maybe before I went in, so they weren't as busted towards the end. Because maybe it would have helped just keep my pace up while I was fuel saving and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the result, and a teammate getting the win. Like, I'm cool with that. So yeah, and it was good fun.
Well, it was certainly a very impressive drive on debut, so congratulations on that P3. You pick yourself up a bit of hardware to go with it. We'll move over to our second place finisher, Nico. An interesting strategy, to say the least. Started second. Looked like there was perhaps a little bit of contact with Super S2K on the opening lap going into Indianapolis. Obviously, it didn't look like you picked up any damage. Do you think that contact might have been what caused Super S2K to come into the pits on the opening lap, or was it just unfortunate case?
When I saw that he went into the pits in lap 1, I didn't understand why. I thought he started on a wrong tire, like mediums. That I knew that mediums wasn't the tire to start on because of the rain coming on the next few laps. But on my perspective, I was seeing everyone with a bit of lag. I think maybe everyone was seeing me too with a bit of lag. Maybe it's because I'm the only one from South America in the competition. But yeah, in my POV, it really, I don't know, it was weird. I couldn't do anything about it. I braked on my braking point, and he braked too, and it seemed okay in my perspective. So yeah, after that, I consulted with a friend that was in my voice chat, and he couldn't confirm it because I think it wasn't shown on the stream. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I can confirm he definitely did start on the softs, and we didn't catch why he pit on the opening lap, just that he did. So certainly something for everyone to go check out post-race. Hopefully we will get a bit of a explanation from Ivan when the race recap comes out in a few days' time. Excuse me. Let's move a little bit further on into the race. That first bout of weather came in, and you looked to pit very early onto the full wet tire. Was that a choice by design, or were you, or would you have preferred to go onto the intermediates in hindsight?
Well, it definitely. seemed like the rain was going to be like really strong. So I decided to go for the wet tires. I wrongly picked it. I should have gone to the intermediates, and I thought that the rain would come like a lot earlier than it did. So that kind of surprised me too. So yeah, I didn't know what the strategy was going to be at the start. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that it was going to be a hard rain and that I needed to pit for either wets or inters. But yeah, I decided to go for the wets, and I also pitted a lap earlier. So yeah.
Well, either way, still a very impressive drive for you to make your way back up after that potentially catastrophic pit strategy call, but nonetheless worked out for you in the end. So congratulations on a hard-fought P2. With that, we will now move over to our winner. First-time winner in the Superformula Series, Payme. Congratulations on picking up the win. Played a strategy masterclass today. Were you at all concerned going on to the full wets on that final stop, or did you think, or did you know that the intermediates were not going to work soon enough?
Thank you, first of all. That's crazy. I'm still shaking at this point. But as far as tires went, I saw that there was a good gap of heavy rain, and I just didn't feel comfortable chancing it with the intermediates. I've never really felt comfortable with the intermediates in this game, but so I just went ahead and went with the full wets, and came back around to the second rain stint. It was pretty much the same kind of rain pattern, but the heavy rain was a lot wider, so I knew there was going to be a lot more rain in the second rain. So the heavies worked out first. The good rain worked out great. The first rain stint, and so I knew I just was going to go with them the second rain stint.
Well, certainly a great strategy call as it turned out. Another question I had for you. It looked like, especially toward the end of that, as you were leading, you had a bit of a moment coming out of the second chicane down the Mulsanne Straight. That exit curb, seemingly catching quite a few people out, is actually what caused Super S2K to go for a bit of a spin late in the running as well, which is what ultimately dropped him down and out of contention for the win. Was that just something that was a little more challenging than expected, or was it just the sheer amount of rain that was being caught up in those rumble strips that was catching drivers out?
Yeah, that part of the track was definitely a lot more wet. I was not expecting that at all, and it's tough to hear that's how S2K went out, because I going into it, I knew every corner exit was super slick, and I was just having to ease on the throttle, especially without traction control. So, I did the same thing that corner exit, and just as wet as it was, I just got lucky enough to release the throttle and catch the car before it put me in the wall. So, whether it's good driving or luck, I didn't wreck, so I'm happy about that.
Well, either way, it was a very impressive save. Congratulations once again on picking up your first win of the season. Do you think, looking ahead onto the schedule later on in the season, do you think there are any other tracks that might suit your driving style, perhaps pick up another win later on?
Not necessarily. I feel really confident at pretty much every track that is in this game, just because I've been driving them all so long. So we'll just have to, get back to the lab and do some practicing, and we'll see if we can't come up with another win next week or in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, congratulations once again. A great result, picking up your first win. Thank you so much to all of our drivers for an outstanding race and display for our broadcast today. As for the upcoming events later on this season, our next trip out will be June 28th, where we will have 69 laps at the Red Bull Ring coming at you like I said, on the 28th of June. But before that, Scorpio eSports goes live. We will be broadcasting to you live from the Cobb Galleria Convention Center in Atlanta, Georgia, for a special GT7 tournament. I will be very happily broadcasting that for you at the event. I'm very much looking forward to that. We should see some familiar faces there as well from our other series, including Superformula. But that will do it for us here today. James, do you perhaps have any final words before we end the broadcast as one of the Scorpio eSports co-founders?
Not at all. Catch us in a week. Catch Aaron's broadcast. Catch Paymay live. Lester's going to be live. It's going to be cool. And, yeah. Good race. Thanks for letting me run in top lobby today.
If you don't mind, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's putting this on and those who commentate and my family and everybody that showed up to watch as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for both being a part of this incredible event and putting on such fantastic performances week in and week out. That will do it for us here today. I've been TNR Blade. Thank you all so much for tuning in once again, and we will see you both at Atlanta in a week, and then once again for Superformula Round 8 at the Red Bull Ring on June 28th. Thank you all once again. Goodbye.